today we are talking about the stress response. So this is basically like stress response 101. So let's get right into it. And if you guys are here, I would love for you to just unmute yourselves and just ask questions whenever you have them or pop in here. Okay. So for some of you, this might be brand new. For some of you, this will not be new, but new tidbits. So what I want to teach you about your stress response is that it's completely normal. It's part of our nervous system's job. And I like to use the term stress management because we're always going to have stress, good stress and bad stress. And I want you to learn how to manage it better, how to bounce back faster, how to have your triggers take you out less intensely for less time. But we're never going to eliminate stress. We can just, which I know is kind of like a bummer, but we're just going to learn how to watch it and react differently. So the first step is just watching your brain, which of course just means mindfulness. But I have a little acronym for you here. It's not a word, unfortunately, but it's just CTFAR. And I've started to use this myself recently, which is why I want to share it with you. So when we have a stressor or a perceived stressor, it is a result of a circumstance. Okay, so the circumstance is the first thing, and the circumstance is neutral. Facts are neutral. They do not mean anything about us. We assign meaning to them. So the circumstance is a fact that can be held up in a court of law. For example, my sweater is black. The wall behind me is blue. I weigh 140 pounds. That is a circumstance. That is a fact that can be proven scientifically. Okay. Now, a thought is an optional sentence in our brain that comes from the circumstance. So you guys have probably heard me say this before. Most people believe, probably not you guys, because you're a little higher level, but most people believe that we have to change the circumstance and then we'll feel different, right? But really, no, the circumstance is the first thing, and that's the stuff that we can't necessarily change, right? And we feel differently when we change our T's and our F's, our thoughts and our feelings about it. So the thought that you have, any thought, is an optional sentence in your brain. It comes from the circumstance, and then we give it meaning. They're not necessarily true, right? So I'm using this as a fitness example because it's super common. So say the circumstance is I weigh whatever. The thought is what we assign to that meaning. So say the thought is I weigh too much, right? This is like what I hear every day. And then that thought creates feelings in our body, vibrations in our body. You all recognize this, right? So maybe we feel anxiety, we feel sad, or we feel discouraged. That feeling comes from our thought about the circumstance. And then our actions are a result of our feelings, our emotions, things that we do or we don't do. So for example, if my thought is, oh, I weigh too much, my weight is too high, then I feel anxious about it, I feel discouraged about it. And so, depending on who I am and what my feeling is, I might start restricting my food, or I might just avoid self-care, right? That's kind of two kinds of people. A more anxious, hypervigilant person is probably going to try to do more workouts, do more restriction, whereas a more hypovigilant person who tends to ghost or back out will just avoid, right? So it's too much, I can't deal with it. I'm just going to basically stop caring for myself. Like, what's the point? And the outcome, the result, is always based on, yes, the action, but really our thought about it. So for example, okay, we feel anxious, we feel discouraged, so we start hustling, restricting food. And then once that willpower runs out, what do? We binge when we get so hungry that we can't stand it. Or if we have been avoiding taking care of ourselves, we might go to it might just spiral, right? We might end up binge drinking, binge eating, not sleeping, not being present. So this can really turn into anything. But I just want you to see how the result, the outcome, actually comes from the thought. So it's not from the circumstance, because that's optional. Because that's what it is. The result comes from your T's and your F's, your thoughts and your feelings. And these, the good news, are things that you can do something about. So if it's not clear already, I'm just going to say it again. This is why I am always trying to sell you guys on addressing the T's and the F's. So when most people come into this program, because I recognize it's a fitness and nutrition program, they think that they have to change the circumstance. They want to diet and they want to do like this certain workout that is going to get them this result. But if we don't change the T's and the F's, the result is the same or worse, and even worse, we don't feel good about it. So how do we change this? Step one, I like a brain dump. This is, like, you guys know I'm into journaling. Literally, when you wake up in the morning, just write down, take 1, 2, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, write brain dump. Just write down what you wake up, what is overwhelming you, just to get it out. And then you can identify your most triggering thought. So if your most triggering thought is, I weigh too much, or my weight is too high, or whatever, run the model on it from here and watch how your thought is triggering your body and your nervous system, and then how you're showing up in your life that's creating your results. So just like we talked about here, so you wake up, you start worrying about what you are or aren't going to eat today because you have this thought, this belief that you weigh too much, there's something wrong with me, whatever. It might be uncomfortable, but notice the feeling in your body and notice how it comes from that thought. So this is running the model on it. Okay. And then what is it resulting in you doing? Stressing out and about your body and your body image, and not being present with your kids, or trying to eat less, or eating different meals from your family, or whatever the result is. And then get curious about your T, your thought. So is this thought 100% true? So let's say you wake up, you start worrying about eating or not eating because you think you weigh too much. So is that true? If it cannot be proven, like this can in a court of law, it's not necessarily true. It's you just assigned this meaning to it, which is a result of what you've heard and learned, culturally in society, from your family, from your media, everything over the course of your life. Not their fault, not your fault. That's just the way it is. Do you want to keep it? So you have this thought every morning that you weigh too much, or I had a woman in my DMs yesterday say to me, like, I'm gross, like she was gross. So it's like, do you want to keep that thought? Like, is that working for you? Does it feel good? What thought would feel 10% better? So you guys may have heard, I love this example from Carl Lowenthal, who, a mantra, an affirmation, it still has to be believable to our brain, to our nervous system, right? So if you're currently thinking, I'm a piece of garbage, I'm disgusting, I'm not going to ask you to change your new thought to, I have a perfect body, because it's just like your body's not going to buy into it. But it could be, her example is like, I have a human stomach. Like, that is more than 10% better than I'm disgusting, I'm fat, whatever. It's like, I'm a human person, I'm doing the best that I can. I have a human stomach. So what thought would feel even 10% better? And then I'm going to teach you how to rewire with the better thought. So, for example, if this is the circumstance, first of all, there's, we can shift the perspective on what you weigh from any angle. For some people, and I know this because I've literally talked to hundreds of women on social media, and they throw a lot of numbers at me, which, to be quite honest with you, I basically discount because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your goal weight is or what your weight is now. We just think that it has meaning. So what I'm saying is, for some people, 140 pounds is like, they want to lose 20 pounds from there. I have definitely had clients say that to me. For some people, 140 pounds is like a super goal. So it depends who you are and what your perspective is, but that's just a fact. The thought that you're having about that fact is, I weigh too much, or we could even this is probably too kind to how we really speak to ourselves. It's probably like, I'm fat and disgusting. So a thought that is what is a thought that is 10% more, feels better than that? It could be a positive affirmation. Like I had a client say last week, I'm the strongest I've ever been. I love that. And how does that feel in your body? So when you have this thought, I weigh too much, or I'm fat, or I'm disgusting, or you have this thought over here, I'm the strongest I've ever been, it feels different in your body. Yeah. And then you're going to take a different action. Even just saying that, shifting to a more positive thought, it removes the hustle, right? It removes the anxiety that I have to do something, I have to fix myself now. So it's almost like, I hope for you, if you feel that thought in your body, more contentment. And when we're in a place of contentment, our nervous system feels safe. And that is from where we make wise decisions, right? We don't make good decisions from hustle and anxiety. When, you guys know what I mean, right? You wake up in the middle of the night and you start that spiral. It's like, would that be a good time to decide like whether to have another baby or move your house, or like, no, or like, to buy something really expensive? No. But when you're half asleep, your nervous system is not, it's not in that, it's not in that space to make the decision. So even if we don't 100% believe the new, more positive thought, practicing it can start to shift us into that place of contentment. And then we start to act from that place rather than this place of anxiety where we are hustling, just going on another run, just eating less, starting a new diet, like da. So we can use, did I come up? Oh yeah, I'm stronger than I've ever been. Right. So we can use that one, or I can work with you guys if you want to come up with a thought. But what I suggest for you to do, if this practice would be helpful for you, is to set an alarm to go off 4 or 5 times a day. So you can do it pretty easily. Like if you have a smartwatch or something, it just doesn't allow you to have text, or at least mine doesn't. Probably an Apple Watch does. Or you can set an alarm. I have an alarm on my phone, and I don't have a thought in it. It just says regulate, which is what I'm going to teach you in a moment. But I want you to set an alarm to go off 4 or 5 times a day. So whatever that is for you, like 9:30 and 12:30 and 3:30. And you can label your new thought. So I'm stronger than I've ever been. I have a human stomach. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm a great mom. Like whatever it is. And then I want you to feel it. I like an alarm because it kind of forces you to stop and feel it in your body. So when you have that new thought, I'm the strongest I've ever been. How does it feel in your body? Where do you feel it? And it will feel stupid, and it will feel like you're not doing enough, and you're doing it wrong, and you're doing it right. But that is the beginning of creating this new belief, which creates us to take different actions, which creates a new result. And I'm going to teach you one other quick tool here, and then I'll show you your health on the record. So the other things, you set an alarm, allow it to go off, practice the new thought, just say it to yourself, feel it in your body, or you can do something called orienting. This is kind of like a therapeutic tool, but it's good both when you're feeling regulated and in moments of extreme anxiety. And it's simply this: you see 5 things in the room that you're in. And when I say see, I mean really see. So if I wanted to orient myself right now, I would sit here and I'd say, okay, white light switch with like some tape on it. Okay, I see like how the screws are. Cup of coffee with cream, the white mug. Okay, I'm really seeing this. You're not just like seeing things how we normally see them, but really seeing them, the texture, the color, the shape. And doing this with 4 or 5 things brings you back to presence. It's a super easy, you can literally do it anywhere. You can do it when you're in the doctor's office, when you're at your kid's school, and it brings you back to the moment. And then again, you're moving back to that more regulated place where you make more intentional actions, which creates a more intentional result. Do you guys have questions about this? No? Michelle, Nicole? Which feels easier for you? Actually, let's try it now. Let's just try it now. Let's try the orienting, and then yeah, let's try the orienting. So I want you to do it. So I'll do it with you too. So 5 things. So look around your room, find 5 things. I'll give you like a minute to do it. Okay, how does that feel? How do you feel now after doing it? You can just unmute yourself, or you can type it in the chat.
To be honest, like pretty neutral, because I was in an already like pretty chill relative state anyway.
But that's good. That's a great time to do it, right? Because we don't always want to practice regulating our nervous system when our nervous system is heightened. So that's good. That's good. And I like that for you today, Lori. I can see a difference in the past.
Yeah, even 1 hour ago, I was not so neutral. So that's
but that's you watching your brain, right? So you know when you're heightened, you know I'm in an okay place. Yeah. So I would just try this next time you're in a maybe not all the way heightened place, but a little bit. Michelle. Good. You feel good? Better? Different? The same? The same. So those are two really easy tools. And if you have trouble, do you guys feel like, do you want to work through this? Do you feel like you can come up with a new thought on your own? Yeah. Okay. Cool. If you need or want help with it, actually, this is your homework. So those of you who are here, I do want you to do this, and I would like you to share your new thought with us in Train Your Eyes, please. In the let's say in the calls channel, in the calls and announcements channel. You don't have to share all of it, but share your new thought so that we can support you in it. Okay. So this is your health on the record. So this is just ignore these numbers. It's just because I had to put these in evenly. So this is what I want you to do now. So I chose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 categories that, in my experience working with clients in this realm, are the biggest pain points, let's say. But you don't have to do all of them. Well, I'll tell you what you're gonna do. So you're gonna number, again, ignore these 12s. You're gonna number from 1 to 10 how each of these categories feels for you. So if you have, if you printed this out, you can do it right on the page there. So did I put this on here? Yeah, so a 1, it feels super easy and flowy. And so, for example, Lori doing this activity now and then doing it like first thing in the morning or on a different day or when you're feeling more heightened, I would just invite you to notice that it's maybe different. So a 1 is out here on the outside of the circle. It feels super easy, flowy. It feels good. Okay. A 10 is here near the red dot. It feels very overwhelming and stressful. So, and this is right now, today in your life. Okay. So just like, how do you feel about FANT? Is this a stressor for you? Is it a pain point? Is it a trigger? Does it feel super easy and flowy? Great. Then you write a 1. Does it feel pretty overwhelming and stressful? You write an 8 or a 9 or a 10. Same for fitness. So we're identifying your triggers, basically. Okay, so take a minute to do that. You can just write down all the numbers and then I'll tell you what we're going to do next. If you have questions about it, let me know. And then I just want you to identify, you can circle or underline them or whatever, your top 3 triggers. So the 3 with the highest numbers. And if there's a tie, you'll just have to choose or fudge them a little bit. And so those are your 3 biggest triggers today on this Wednesday. And so now let's just do one together, and then you can do the other 2 on your own after, but choose your number 1 or one of your top 3 triggers. And then run the model on it. So what is the circumstance? So is someone willing to give me an example? What was your top trigger? Highest number.
Mine is food.
Food. Okay. And so what is the thought that you're having, not necessarily in this moment, Michelle, but when you're feeling most triggered about food, what's the thought? What do you say to yourself?
Well, I guess, should you be eating it? Is it, I don't know. Should you be eating it?
So not a question, but your thought. Is it, I don't want to put words in your mouth. So is it like, I shouldn't be eating this?
Yes, I shouldn't be.
Okay.
Or do I really need it? Or do I?
So not questions, because your thoughts are not questions, right? So well, it is, but if you're asking yourself that question, you probably have a belief around it, right? I shouldn't be eating this. I don't need to eat this.
Yeah.
And remember, thank you for sharing that. Remember, we're looking at these triggers without shame, right? We're just getting curious because we can't identify these triggers until we get curious. So thank you, Michelle. I love that. Okay, so fit food. The thought is, let's just say, so what is it for you? Is it, I don't need this, or I shouldn't be eating this?
Probably both.
Okay. And then what is the feeling or the emotion when you are in that place saying that to yourself?
Guilt.
Guilt. Okay. And then what do you do when you feel guilty? What action do you take?
I eat it all.
Yeah, super common, right? So common. And then what's the result?
Then I'm mad at myself.
Yeah. So then the guilt perpetuates, and then it makes that belief true that you shouldn't have eaten it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Perfect example. Thank you. And super common. So the next step with this trigger is we're going to build a new neural pathway. We're going to find you a new T and a new F. So if your belief is I shouldn't eat this, is that, and I'm curious, what is the rest of the thought? I shouldn't eat this because.
Well, it depends what I'm eating, but like usually it's not nutritional.
Okay.
It doesn't hold a lot of nutritional value in it.
Okay. So, but then what? So I shouldn't eat this because I will, or it will. What's the rest of the thought?
Well, if you sit down with a bag of chips, I know I should be eating instead an apple and cheese or Greek yogurt and fruit, or
Okay.
because
So
there's more nutrition in that than there is in a bag of chips.
sure. But what's the thought that you have about yourself in that moment? You're eating a bag of chips, that's a circumstance. That is neutral, right? We're just assigning meaning to it. So what's the meaning that you assign to it? What's the thought that you have?
I don't know. It's mindless usually. It's just mindless.
Okay, so in hindsight, what's the thought that you have about it? About yourself? What's the meaning that you assign to that mindless eating?
Well, I'm going to eat it and I'm going to put on weight, and it's just going to be a cycle.
There it is. Okay. So the belief, your thought is I'm going to put on weight. Eating chips is a circumstance. That is neither good nor bad nor otherwise. Your thought about it is, I'm going to gain weight. And then we already talked through this. You feel guilty, you binge, turns out to be true. Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. So first ask yourself, is this 100% true? So, and it doesn't, the answer honestly doesn't matter, but we're just starting to question and get curious about it. So you eat a bag of chips. Yeah, if you did that like on the regular, it's very possible that that would make you gain weight. It's very possible that it wouldn't. If you did it once in a while, it could go both ways, right? It doesn't really matter because we just learned that it's the thought that makes the result the same. So when you have that thought, Michelle, I'm going to gain weight, do you want to keep that thought? Does it feel good in your body? Does it feel good?
No.
No. Okay. So what could help you get closer, a little closer to feeling better? So for example, I have this fitness example. The thought, my workouts don't work anymore. You feel defeated, and then you skip your workouts because, well, they're not working anyway. And then sure enough, your workouts don't work. So what's a new thought, Michelle, that would feel a little better instead of I'm going to gain weight? I can think of a lot for you.
I don't know. I guess I'm going to sit and enjoy them, and tomorrow will be better.
Sure. Yeah. I am going to, there is so much power in just owning what you are doing, because I feel like half the time it brings consciousness to it and then we don't do the action, or we do the action and we just own it and enjoy it. So I love that. So, yeah, I'm just going to eat this and enjoy it. Or it could literally be like, I enjoy food that nourishes me, right? And then maybe you eat the chips or you don't. But if you start to build in that belief that you are a person who eats food that nourishes you, the action will change. It might not change 100% of the time, but it will start to change. Other ones for you, Michelle, are like, I have all the support that I need. Like, especially in this moment, right? You are fully supported. So that you are going to gain weight is not a fact. It's not necessarily true, because you are taking care of yourself. I like that one for you too. I am taking care of myself. I have all the support that I need. I am doing my best when it comes to my health and fitness, right? Like, these are all beliefs that feel probably a little bit better. So if you want your new thought to be, which one do you like? Do you like, I'm going to enjoy this, or I enjoy my food, or I enjoy nourishing my body, or something else?
Yeah, I'm enjoying this, and I'm going to allow myself to have it, and then continue to take care of myself.
Yeah, let's make it a little bit more neutral, because I want this to be a thought that you embody all the time, right? Whether you do the thing or not. So we want it to be a little bit more neutral. Like, I enjoy food, or what was the other thing you said? I am taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how about that? Like, I am taking care of my body without guilt or shame.
Okay.
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your new thought. So then how does that feel in your body?
Better.
What emotion or feeling comes up when you think that thought?
Just a second, I'm writing it down.
Okay, good.
I guess it's allowing myself to be okay with not being perfect all the time.
Yeah, and how does that make you feel?
Good.
Good? Content? Hopeful?
Good.
Yeah.
Hopeful.
Right? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then how will you act? How will you act differently or how do you act knowing yourself when you feel content and hopeful and good?
Relaxed.
Yeah, relax. And then how do you act? What do you do?
I'm nicer.
You're nicer. And what about the eating? How do you eat?
I guess well, more intuitively, I guess is the answer, with more, noticing what you're eating and what you're taking in.
Is that the real answer, or you feel like that's the right answer?
I think that's the answer.
Okay, good. No, I just want to check. I don't want you to just tell me what I want to hear. Okay.
Well,
so
no, I know intuitive eating is your thing, but it makes sense, right? If you're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to sit and eat these chips and eat them until, not necessarily till the bag is gone, but until I feel satisfied with them, instead of eating them and being pissed off and being like, now I ate the whole bag and I'm still pissed off.
Okay, so remind me, what's your new thought?
I'm taking care of myself without guilt or shame.
Love it. Okay, so I'm taking care of myself without guilt or shame. That makes you feel good and relaxed. And when you feel good and relaxed, you eat intuitively and mindfully, and you stop eating when you're full and when you're satisfied, right?
Right.
And then what is the result?
Sorry?
And then what's the result when you do that, when you eat intuitively and mindfully?
I probably make better choices.
Yeah, or your body changes in the way that you want, right? Both things can be true, but you probably feel better. Your digestion is better. You continue to make better choices. You continue to make progress. You don't fall off the wagon, and your physique changes. Would you agree?
Yep.
So does this make sense to you guys? How going, thought, feeling, change the T and the F, change the result. So what I want you, thank you very much for sharing that, Michelle. That was a super applicable, great example. So your homework is to begin to watch your T's and your F's, okay? So your circumstance is whatever it is. We're late for school. That I can have a thought about that I'm a terrible parent. I always do this. I'm terrible at time management. So just starting to watch those T's and the F's. So Michelle has her new thought. Lori, you're going to come up with your new thought. Nicole, you're going to come up with your new thought. And then set an alarm in your phone with the new T. So Michelle's is going to be, I enjoy food without guilt or shame, I think it was. And every time that the alarm goes off, she feels that in her body. So part of this is practicing feeling it, feeling good, because we're mostly, most of us don't know what we're feeling at all, or how to get into our body. And we're really not comfortable feeling good. We're really practiced at feeling guilt and shame and shitting on ourselves. That's very normal, and we can stay there for a long time. But for most of us, feeling good is harder. So when your alarm goes off, when you're reciting this thought to yourself, I want you to feel it in your body. See if you can hold it for 10 seconds. So Michelle said, when she says, when she embodies that thought, she feels good and more relaxed. So Michelle, can you hold on to that good, relaxed feeling? For, I'm not kidding, 10 seconds is hard for most people. And then with practice, you can expand it. And then you can tap into it, and then it just becomes normal. And then you work on a new T or a new F.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Lori, do you have questions, or do you want help?
No, actually, just in the moment just now, I'm writing down because I got two categories that were my key stressors, and I'm kind of came up because like the family one, like parenting, like staying calm when my daughter is freaking out is and resisting everything is definitely my most triggering moment. So I just had my thought. Normally get really frustrated, like this is taking forever, we're never going to get things done, we're never going to get to what we need done. But my new, of course, that makes me like stressed and anxious, feel it in my chest. So then, I get mad, then I feel guilty. So my new thought is, when my daughter is triggered, parenting is my focus.
For that to be your presence, yeah.
Yes, so that just like bring me back to the moment. Like the other stuff doesn't matter. The other circumstances, like if we're late for something, that's not a big deal. If we get to, like today, it was going to pick up the grocery order, and then I'm not going to have enough time to do other things in between. Like those other things don't matter, right? So like when my daughter is triggered, parenting is my focus. Yeah.
Yeah, that's big for you too, because that's just kind of your theme right now too, right? Is like priorities. And, yeah, and present. what was your other one?
My other stressor definitely is when I beat myself up about work stuff. So like when I'm not keeping up with things, there's a lot of like catastrophizing, I guess. So like I'm risking my career, I'm not doing as well by my patients, things like that. And then my replacement thought, I think, is going to be I have value as a therapist on its own. So yeah, so just reminding myself that like you're still doing well by your patients, like that kind of thing, to bring me back down. Because like you said, like when I get stressed, that's when I avoid, and then it compounds, right? So just reminder that I have value. It'll be okay. Bring me back down. So yeah, I'm hoping that that one definitely makes me feel lighter, I guess, as it were. Yeah.
And then does it feel, because I know charting is a thing for you, so then does it, when you feel lighter and you're owning your leadership really as a clinician, are you in a more comfortable place to make space for your charting than?
Yeah, because then it's like, well, if I'm less stressed, then I don't feel like I desperately need to have that relaxation time instead of just getting the thing done that I need to do, right? So yeah, just kind of that, if I do it right away, it doesn't lead to that stress, right? It's not a scary thing. I guess that's another option for a thought that like charting is not a monumental task. Like charting is not it's not a marathon. It's
I'm capable of completing this task, essentially.
That's another good replacement thought.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for bringing up that example, Lori, because you're so right. Is we can do, you guys know I love breath work and meditation and yoga and all the things. And that's why I say stress management, because we're not eliminating stress. But Lori is so right. If we can address this on a body level, so you start to feel differently in the moment, you literally save less time because you don't have to bring yourself down from being heightened, manage the stress, and then spend a bunch of time like doing some deeply relaxing thing to get yourself back to. So that's why sometimes I hear when clients make progress and they start taking care of themselves, and then they're almost like, they start doing this kind of work and seeing their thoughts, and then they're like, I'm doing all this meditation, it's just like not working anymore. And it's like, it's not that it's not working anymore, it's just that you're used to it and you're now trying to self-care yourself out of a heightened nervous system. So great example, Lori. Thank you so much. Thank you. Nicole, I know you're working. Do you have anything to share? Do you need help with your T's and your F's?
Hi, I'm here. Well, I guess my biggest one was, can you guys hear me? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. I guess social life came up, and I think it's like my biggest thing is judgment. So one trigger with social is judgment, but the other is I guess the last couple of years have not been the best for me. So I've gained weight. I don't feel the best like I used to. So then I start to hide and not want to see anybody.
So what is the most triggering thought of those things that you just said? Because I can even hear it in your voice, right? That when you're so I know you
what's the triggering thought?
Or circumstance, and then we can help you with the thought.
I don't know, that they're going to make assumptions or view me a certain way, or I don't know, just I get really choked up.
Yeah. Is this about like your physical appearance or?
Well, I got teased, like I got bullied in high school, I guess it leads all back to there.
Yeah. So is your current belief like they're gonna make fun of me? They're gonna make
I guess so.
Yeah. Okay. And then how does that make you feel in your body?
Well, horrible. I'm in tears already.
Yeah. It's scary, right? Because your nervous system doesn't know any different. So it takes you right back to being teased as a kid. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels scary. It feels horrible. And then what do? How do you act? Sounds like you avoid.
Yes, huge.
Yeah. And then the result is limited social life, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'm not helping myself, right?
Okay. So the circumstance, and so what do we know should be true? Because we don't know that people are going to make fun of you. We don't know that they're going to judge you. We can't say that. So I'm curious, what do you think they're going to tease you about?
I don't even know because they're my friends and I see them all the time and they love me and all that kind of stuff. But there's just still something there that makes me choke up and then want to avoid.
Yeah. Okay. So to be honest, in this instance, it doesn't really matter what the circumstance is, but I think we can definitely find a better feeling thought. So you just said your friends love you, your husband loves you, they're all supportive of you. So does that feel too lofty of a new thought? Like, I am fully supported by my loved ones, my friends love and support me. Like, do those things feel, when you think, does it feel like realistic to you?
Yeah, it's a calming feeling.
That's a common feeling?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. That's good. So what we have to do now, and we can work on this on our one-on-one next week too, like to get a little bit deeper into it, but maybe like this week and this weekend, just starting to notice, like the first step is just noticing the thought, right? So perhaps you do plans this weekend?
Yes.
Okay. So just start to watch your thoughts as the plans come closer. So you're thinking about doing whatever, the time comes, you're getting ready, and the orienting would be a good exercise for you. So just saying, for example, like Saturday night, you're getting ready to go out and you start to feel like you're getting dressed and, oh my God, like I'm gonna wear this and people are gonna make fun of me. And you can catch that and then do that orienting exercise. So, okay, right, I'm in my closet, I see this, I see this, I see this. That will bring you back enough. Like that might be enough. Or if you catch it, you can bring it back to your thought, like, because you're who are your plans with?
Another friends of ours, like another couple.
Okay, and you trust them, like?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so then you can bring it back to your new thought. I am totally loved and supported by so and so and so and so. I am going to be in a safe space of people who love me tonight. Like, trying to bring you back to that place, and even just making getting ready like a more enjoyable experience.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Then you act different, right? Like, I don't know about you, but I've totally been there. And then it's like, I have no clothes and I look terrible and everything. And then I totally take it out on my husband. And then I totally, right? Like, and then the result is like, you have a terrible time. And it's all because you started with this completely optional thought that wouldn't have been true if you hadn't have manifested it.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah. So I like that T for you. So practice the T, and then if you cut the new thought, and then if you catch yourself in a moment of anxiety, try the orienting. And then when you and I talk next Wednesday, if you're still, you might not feel triggered by it anymore, but if you are, then we can talk more, like go a little bit deeper.
Okay, sounds good.
Do you have any other questions about that? Was there another trigger that you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, family, similar with little kids and their emotions. So I think working on it is working a lot better instead of trying to get so much stuff done and then my daughter freaking out and then it's just becomes amplified altogether. I've just stopped and just sit with her and figure out what's wrong and like usually if she's hungry or something, I just sit and like literally feed her. She's 6, so she's going to be fed, hand fed, but even just to get food in her, and then she calms right down. So it's just being aware and present in the moment with her to help her emotions so that she can get over it, and then we can carry on.
Yeah. Yes. I can totally relate to that. I know Lori can too. And then forgiving yourself for not always nailing it, right? Because we can get overwhelmed and we can get frustrated. But so do you know what the thought that you have is when you do get triggered in that moment, and did you come up with a better feeling one?
Well, I guess the thought would be, I can't get everything done, and now she's creating more stress and
then how do you
just making everything harder, right?
Yeah. And then how do you feel when you
at that moment?
Yeah, like when you're putting that blame on both of you, really. How does that make
Yeah.
you feel?
Well, it's very stressful. It's frustrating, and then obviously then guilty.
Yeah, and when we're frustrated, we're usually not the parents that we want to be.
Yes, exactly.
And
Yeah.
the result is that the kids, they are just mirrors for us, right? So then they are frustrated, and then we all know it perpetuates, right? So okay, so what is in that moment, regardless of whether she's hungry or what it is, like what is a better feeling thought that you could practice? And I think you're onto it because you already kind of said.
Yeah, I just that I'm a good mom, that I don't need to have everything perfect. Like I can just let things go. And give myself grace and just be present with her. And yeah.
Yeah, I love, like, I'm doing the best that I can. I am a great mom. Like, I'm a great mom, and I'm here to learn what my child needs, right? That like takes the pressure off, because it's like we don't have all the answers in the moment, but you are a good mom and you are fully equipped to figure it out.
Yes. And it's okay to ask for help. That's another.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I am a great mom who is comfortable asking for help. It feels way better than like, this is her fault and this is my fault, and right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I think you have a couple to practice there. I'll just share with you guys too. I can totally relate, Lori and Nicole, to both of you. Like, we went to Florida a couple weeks ago. My daughter, who was 4 at the time, got super sick as soon as we landed, had a fever. We're in another country. We're supposed to go to Disney World. She had a partner Halloween costume with my husband. So I felt all this pressure. And then I was like, she's acting like an asshole when really she was just sick. But I really had to reframe my expectations, because just like Nicole just said, our expectations don't mean, and we put so much power on them when really it's like we have a human child whose needs are so much more important than our expectations. But it's so easy for us to get caught up in our ego and all we have to do, and we were supposed to do this and it's supposed to feel like this. We can get so stuck there, right? So I totally get it. When, just like Nicole said, and Lori, like you said, like if we can just come back to, oh right, like, nothing else really matters. I am equipped to take care of my child in this moment. I'm equipped to take care of myself. This is most important. Feels way better than hustling for like whatever we thought we were supposed to be doing over here. So I totally get it. This was great, you guys. Thank you for sharing your examples. Do you have any questions about any of this before we go? Before I let you out? No? Okay, so I would love for your homework. I want to see, we all kind of workshopped your new thoughts and your new feelings, but refine it a little bit. And then I would love for you to share it in the calls and announcements channel with us. And then we're doing self-sabotage next week. I'm pretty sure that's on the agenda. Yeah, Lori's pumped. That's a good one. We've done it before, but I always bring something new to it. Yeah, so we'll do that next week. And then I will talk to you in train rice. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Love you. Bye.